today's video, guys, I want you to understand, and I'm going to talk about holding deer on your property. Now, this is a big topic on social media right now, and the past few videos I've been kind of hammering down on these so-called like trigger words, and I see it coming from a lot of newer consultants on social media and things like that, and it's holding deer on your property. Now, some of these people that I've seen is saying like, hey, if we do these habitat improvements, we can hold deer on our property. And again, it's kind of like false hope to the customer. So these guys are selling their services to the clients and saying, hey, I can show you how to hold deer on your property. And I've seen some of them market it as like, hold this specific buck on your property year round. And people are buying into this. And yeah, I do consulting work for clients all the time, but I never give them false hope. I'm not going to tell them something and lie to them in order to get them to hire me as a consultant. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to give people false hope. It's just, I can't rip people off. And I always try to provide the best services that I possibly can with just being a good person to the client, giving them the best knowledge of the best of my ability, walking the entire property and so forth, and being in constant communication with them. They can contact me and so forth. But in regards to holding deer in your property, it's just not going to happen full time. Again, we're referencing a wild free-ranging deer. Okay, that deer has a home range of whatever it wants to have. A half mile, mile, mile and a half during a rut, 2 miles, 3 miles, whatever it is. Now, the whole goal of habitat improvements is to be able to control the majority of that deer's daylight movement on our property. But again, that's just not going to happen all the time. It's a wild deer, it can go where it wants. If you're in areas where your property is situated, say it's 40 acres situated in the middle, and you have blocks of timber of private land on all sides, all the neighbors are hunting, and it's just surrounded by that property, big woods, settings, those deer are not on your property full time. I don't care what anybody says. They're going to travel off your property at various times of the year, multiple days a week, multiple times a day, whatever it is, they're going to leave your property. Now, the bigger the property gets, then yes, we have the ability to hold that deer on our property for more time than we could on a small piece. You know, does pretty much stay where they're at. They pick an area of good habitat and they can pretty much stay there. They have a shorter home range than bucks. Now, the people that's marketing this is, they're saying, hey, we can take this big buck that you have on camera, we can do some improvements and have that buck literally live on your property. That is false information. That buck is not going to live on your property all the time. Can we get it to bed on there? Possibly. It depends how the property is laid out, where our food plots are situated, if our property can offer a bedding situation, if our property has the habitat features and terrain features in order to bed the deer here, they travel through here, they come to our food plot. Depends on the pressure that you have on your land, the quality of habitat between edges and regeneration areas, select cuts, clear cuts, whatever it is where you have regeneration, ridges, benches, saddles that funnel the deer around our property. If we have travel corridors, what type of variety of food that we're planting. If we have hard mass, soft mass. Your neighbors may have acorns dropping, we don't. Acorns overpower any food source. The deer are going to go to the acorns. If we don't have oaks, they're going to eat them somewhere else, right? So they're going to leave our property. Each property offers a different habitat feature that buck or deer likes. We can't offer everything. We can try to, we can put in fruit trees. We can have edges, we can have feathered edges, we can have food plots, we can have water holes, we can have mock scrapes, travel corridor, whatever it is. We can do whatever we have to do to our best of our ability to improve our land, but you're just not going to hold a deer full time. When you get into areas such as ag areas and things where there's open areas, open ag, and we have those smaller patches of woods, then we can control those deer a little bit more, but they're still going to leave your property. Big wood settings where you're surrounded by everything, they're going to leave your property because you don't know what the neighbors are doing, where the pressure's at. That buck, it's just a wild deer, guys. That buck, it's a wild animal. It does what it does. It's going to leave your property. Please don't fall for that marketing tactic to where you hear somebody saying, hey, if you have a big buck on your property or you have seen a big buck on your trail cameras, hire us. We can come in and we can control that deer's movement 100%. It's false. I don't want you guys to get ripped off. We can control that deer to a certain point. We can do the improvements that whoever's offering it to you or you're doing it yourself. We can have an area of bedding, the travel corridors, to food. We can set that up. Is there any guarantee that a specific buck is going to use that? No. We can enhance our property to make it more enticing for deer to use our property, right, as a daytime activity where there's no pressure. They feel safe there. We have a bedding area that offers browse, regeneration, cover, thick areas, treetops that's been dropped. It's been recently logged, clear cut, or hinge cut areas. We can improve some travel routes the deer are using. We can do all of this. We can try to plant the best food plots to the best of our ability and go from there. But as far as holding deer full time, it's just not going to happen, guys. Don't get your hopes up. Hope this video helps. Drop a comment down below and let me know what you think. Let me know, how you're making out on your property. I'll see you guys on the next video.